Coming up this morning on the Dattitude podcast, it's been a while since we've had an entire show keeping it positive, brother. Am I still allowed to say that, by the way? You think it's possible to keep an entire show positive? Well, we are going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints. However, though, we're going to start off with talking about a redone offensive line that could go from the number one weakness on this team to one of the team's strengths. Is that positive? Hell yeah, it's positive. What about Kellen Moore? Has he settled on the order before we even get to mandatory minicamp? Sure seems like it. If that's so, it's a good thing. There's one thing that might bring us down just a little bit. It's the state of the wide receiver room. The tallest guy in there is my height. That can't be good, right? But apparently Tyler Shuck has looked fantastic so far. It is May. We're not going to go cray-cray about it. One thing we certainly can go nuts over is a college team from the state of Louisiana setting a national record that must have previously seemed unbreakable. LSU-Shreveport has a chance to finish an entire baseball season undefeated and NAIA champions with a win tonight in Idaho. We'll touch on that. We'll get you up to date with our thoughts on the national sports scene. And Gabe Henderson is here. You know, he's going to smile. He's going to talk about someone else that was smiling. And he's going to press my buttons, and we're going to end the week with a little fun. It's all coming up next, so let's get this party started.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? You ready for the weekend? I know I am. I don't know what it is about a 3-day weekend, but it's made me tired all week. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not bitching. I'm glad I had the 3-day weekend. I got vacation coming up, but this whole week, it's like all kinds of weird things have been happening. Not weird, not too bad, but just weird. That's what this week has been all about. I am ready for a weekend. We got to reset again. We got a regular week coming up next week. Got a regular week coming up the week after that, and I think vacation is coming up on the horizon. And after that, hey, man, it's full steam ahead. So that's all coming up. I think I counted, not counting today, I think we have 8 shows left until vacation. We got a jam-packed show for you today. It is just Gabe and I. That's good for you because that means a little bit more fun. Yeah, whatever. Not that we don't have fun with guests. For the next 90 minutes, this will be a yawn-free zone. We don't care if we're tired. It's Dattitude. It's episode number 380, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Friday, May the 30th, 2025, the final show in May. When I talk to you next, it will be June. Oh, my goodness. Where's the time gone? Crazy. We're only 20 shows away from number 400. What should we do special for number 400? Should we start planning? I guess that'll be end of July, somewhere around there. We got 8 shows left in June. We got 8 shows in June. 388. Yeah, somewhere, I'm guessing towards the end of July, early August. What are we going to do? Start thinking about that. Maybe I could get your help on that. If you don't know already, you're like, why is this dude? Who is he? What is he rambling about? What is he talking about? I'm talking about, I am Jim Derry, nearly 35 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. I thank you for being a part of this ever-growing Dattitude family. You can be a part of the show if you don't know this already. There are a bunch of comments in the queue. I'll get to them in just a minute by typing in your comment, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. If you haven't already done so, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're watching on YouTube and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Smash, as my daughter would say, smash that subscribe button. Smash the like button too if you like. And click the little bell. All right? We've been kind of stagnant on the subs lately. The views have not changed. I mean, the views have been pretty good. I don't know why the subs have not been as good. So go tell your friends. Subscribe to Dattitude. You'll enjoy it. You got to see this idiot. He says all kinds of wacky crap. And if you want to get in touch with me, you can on X at Jim Derry Jr. or via email, Derry, theadvocate.com. What is on the show today? If you are watching live, you can see the little box down there, bottom right. It's going to be, our lead topic is going to be offensive line. Hey, you know, y'all, some of y'all complain that I'm too negative. We're not going to be negative today, baby. Talking about the offensive line. I'm literally, I would say pumped. I'm pumped about this offensive line. I've been screaming it for years. I actually think if you ask me today, and we talk about the draft next year, God forbid, I'm not going to do that. That's 11 months away. But if you ask me what I thought the Saints would be picking first in the 2026 draft, for the first time in a while, I will tell you, I don't think they should take an offensive lineman. That's all I've been talking about for years. I really think this offensive line, barring injury, could be set. So that's number one on the list. If you listen to Kellen Moore and you read through the lines, we like to read through the tea leaves. Maybe there are no more wide receivers. Maybe they aren't going to add a veteran wide receiver. Maybe they are not going to add a big body. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to get into the LSU-Shreveport being 58-0. That's coming up in just a minute. I want to show you some comments first. 58-0. That's not a misprint. 58-0. They can win the NAIA National Championship tonight. They are playing Southeastern Florida, whom they have already defeated by 10. They beat them. The 10-run ruled them already. They get them tonight. We're going to get into that in just a minute. And then the last word today is a special one. It's I love me some Jim Mora. Okay. I just love me some Jim Mora. And look, his 90th birthday was last week and I missed it. So we're doing a happy belated 90th birthday. I have if you've watched the show on a regular basis, every now and then, once every, 3 or 4 months, I like to just throw some Jim Mora clips. I got a montage for you today. I got Jim Mora's greatest hits coming up at the end of the show. You will want to stick around. It will be worth it. You're going to want to see Jim Mora's greatest hits. And if you haven't seen him lately, go find, I'll say this again later, but go find Fletcher Mackel's Facebook page. Fletcher Mackel, who's a semi-regular guest of the show. And Jim Mora is his regular during the in-season analyst and flies in he lives in California. Jim Mora still lives in California. Dude, you got to see this dude working out. He's got a video of Jim Mora working. It's insane. Dude's 90 years old. I mean, he's doing leg presses. This video is him doing leg presses after an hour-long workout. Leg presses, I can't remember exactly. I don't think I could do that weight. Not that I'm in any kind of great shape or anything, but still, I mean, 90 years old. I want to look like this. You look at his legs. He's got the leg. I'm not kidding. He's got the legs like a 40-year-old. It's insane what Jim Mora looks like at age 90. I mean, he may live to be 110. Who the hell knows? So anyway, that's what's on today's show. What do you think about my hair? Yeah, this is the longest I think I've gone without a haircut since COVID. I'm getting a haircut later today. So when you see me Monday, this will be whacked off. It just so happened that this is, woo. Don't get much longer than that. We got to do something about that. All right, let's see some comments this morning. Charles Mangus, good morning. Where you at, Dattitude family? 58-0 indeed. It is impressive. We're going to get to that in a minute. Good morning, Apathy. Trevor Penning looks like he ripped a fart and is looking back to see the aftermath. You don't like that picture? Man, why are you giving Penning some grief, man? It's not that bad. Maybe so. I could say it. Brian S. Steve, good morning. Let's go Pilots. Shreveport Pilots. LSU Shreveport Pilots. Also, the LSU Tigers are playing today at 2:00. Of course, go Tigers. Talk about them in a minute too. Gerard Semino, good morning. Let's see, Chad. Excuse me. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, or children who want to be adults or adults who want to be children, whatever you are. S. Callie. Good morning. UBN wants to know if I know how to be positive. Of course I know how to be positive. What are you talking about? I am verklempt already. You know what? Here's my negative statement in the morning. Did go to the racetrack. My free plug for racetrack. You'd think they'd sponsor the show by now. Racetrack. They did not have my regular, that you put in the caramel, whatever, I like to do. We talked about this. Pumpkin spice in the fall. When it's not fall, I use the caramel, whatever. They didn't have my kind of, I had to use regular cream and sugar. What the hell's going on? And then I put way too much sugar in it. It's like I'm drinking, and I'm supposed to be on a diet. It was an accident. There's my one bitch moment of the morning. But it's still good. Thank you, Racetrack. Kyle Sherman, good morning. From Croatia. Weren't you in Germany the other day, Kyle? What the hell are you doing out there? Enjoy it. Enjoy it. UBN. We talking about practice? Practice. Yeah. What was that, Allen Iverson that did that? Yeah. Talking about practice. Reginald Porter's here. Who Dat Family? Tedders is here. Good morning. Owen Attilio. You agree. Stay positive. Go Saints. Earl's Picks. Happy Friday. Linda Long says go for it. Let's stay positive. Absolutely. Reginald Porter says, like, Saints wide receivers are all the same size with speed. The tallest Saints wide receiver is the same height as me. You can't tell how, you probably don't know how tall I am. I've never mentioned it before, I guess. 6'2". Gerard Simmons says O-line could be the strength of the team. Absolutely. Rocky, is something wrong with you? Good morning. I'm used to you typing in all caps. I'm not used to you just typing in good morning. What's going on? That's right, Jim Mora. Playoffs. That's it. Of course that's in there. Playoffs. Who Dat Daddy? Where you been? He's back. Off of vacation. You know we're not going to talk about today, Who Dat Daddy? You might actually you might be positive with us today. Who Dat Daddy? Dylan Smith, good morning, Dattitude family, fellow Who Dats. Finally catching a live show. Been having to watch late. Summer schedules messed you all up. It's kind of me too. Charles Mangus wants me to shave my head. It ain't happening. I did that once. At my age, and look, I got a lot of hair. So my grandfather on my mom's side, he died at age 92 with a full head of hair. So I don't. Oh, there you go. Rocky forgot to set the cap lock. Love it. TMI information, but my maternal grandfather had a full head of hair when he died at 92. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have hair until I'm gone. But at the same time, I don't want to shave it off either. I ain't messing with the hair gods, okay? Too many of my friends, I'm not mentioning any names. You know who you are. Nick Morris. You know who you are. Don't have any hair. So I'm not shaving mine off. Did I just say call out UBN on the air? Sorry about that. Cecil Evans, good morning. Small sample size. But the feel, the fans, the brush of fresh air with this team. Hey, if we're going to keep it positive, I got to say you're right. It is a breath of fresh air. We talked about this. Hey, I'm not real positive about where it might go, but hey, it is a breath of fresh air. Terrence is here. Who dat? Daryl Romero, always giving me compliments. I appreciate it. Mark Gapsky, got your email, by the way. I did not forget you. I'll promise I'll respond over the weekend. Who dat? You leave NOLA in 97 days for opening week. Yep. Oh, you leave for NOLA in 97 days opening weekend. Yeah. Smoke. Seeing the news about Zion. Yep. Not going anywhere. We do not have Pelicans talk on the show. I did talk about it last night. It was on the Eric Asher show, which you can check out on TV, on the tube. If you can't find it on, I don't know, it's WLAE, but you certainly can find it on WLAE's YouTube page if you want to watch it. UBN says he hasn't hair since 1999. Charles Manga says he shaved his head for 15 years now. Last comment before I get to some of the early stuff here. William says Tyler Shuck is Moore's handpicked quarterback. So for all the Rattlers lovers, sorry, bud, this is Tyler's team now. Yeah, we don't want that to be. It's kind of a crappy way to put it, William. We don't have to there's nothing set in stone anyway. But you're probably right. But is that the way we really want to say that? I don't know. Come on. You don't have to be a Rattler hater, okay? So many people take it as I'm a Rattler hater. I'm not a Rattler hater. I like the dude. Like I said, I met him, dapped him up. Y'all remember that show? I showed it back in February. Dapped him up, talked. It was cool. I don't dislike the dude. Just don't think he's going to be an NFL starting quarterback. Although, Tyler Shuck, what's he going to do? We're going to talk about his wow, quote unquote, wow moments. Luke Johnson wrote about his wow moments. It is May, so don't get too fired up. All right, before we get to All Saints today, because that's what today's going to be for the most part, All Saints. A few things here. Look, I want to go back and talk about, and you see it on the screen, LSU-Shreveport yesterday set the national, and I mean the national. I'm not talking about just NAIA. I'm not talking about NCAA Division III, 1, whatever. All of college baseball, the history of collegiate baseball in the United States of America. 58 straight victories to start a season. 58-0. I should have gone and looked to see who was 57-0. I knew they had tied the record. They broke it yesterday, and they have either 1 or 2 games left. They hope 1 game. Okay? They won 14-4 yesterday over Hope International of Fullerton, California in the NAIA World Series. They can finish the season 59-0 and the NAIA champion if they can defeat Southeastern of Florida tonight at 8:30 p.m. You can go find it if you want to watch it. You can find it. It's free. Go search NAIA World Series. You can get a link to find it. It is 6:30 Pacific time. It is in Lewiston, Idaho. You can find it. You can watch it for free. We've had Coach Brad Neffendorf on this show, and I will have him on again if they win the national championship. Want to talk about them. I might talk a little bit about Loyola baseball next week. Again, their season's done, but hey, they have done a whole lot. But if LSU-Shreveport were to go 58-1, they would get a mulligan. They would play again tomorrow and have another chance at winning the NAI. So Southeastern's got to beat them twice. What are the odds of that, man? I don't even want to talk about that. But if you're 58-0, you just got to win 1. Of course you want to do it and finish 59-0 and finish the – I mean, that's way more impressive than a perfect game, right? All the things that can happen in a season, and they're playing a team with a chance to go 59-0 and win the championship, a team that they beat by the 10-run rule on Wednesday. Southeastern of Florida. Tonight at 8:30 local time. Incredible. Impressive. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, again, we'll be talking about this some more. If you don't like it, sorry, but we are going to be talking. I mean, that's just something 58 now. That is just incredible. Speaking on a possibility of incredible, LSU opens its real shot at a 8th. They're trying to make it number 8. 8 would be great. I mean, it's early at 7. Who cares? We could say it. I think they're on a mission. It's Omaha bust. For the LSU Tigers, they open the Baton Rouge Regional today at 2 p.m. against Arkansas Little Rock. Assuming they win, 4-seeded, they got to beat 4-seeded Little Rock. If they don't beat 4-seeded Little Rock, we got major problems. So assuming that they win, they will play the Rhode Island Dallas Baptist winner, in other words, Dallas Baptist, at Saturday at 5 p.m. I mean, it would be a shock. It would be, I don't know which one would be more shocking. I mean, I guess LSU losing to Little Rock would be more shocking, but URI, Rhode Island, I think was one of the worst 3 seeds in the tournament, and Dallas Baptist is one of the best 2 seeds. So Dallas Baptist is going to win, and then LSU would likely play Dallas Baptist. That would be at 5 o'clock tomorrow. In a winner's bracket, UBN, can you stay up Sunday? Supposed to go to the game with UBN. If LSU wins those 2 games, they would be in the winner's bracket game at 8 p.m. on Sunday. If they were to lose one of them, I think they would play at like 4 o'clock on Sunday and then have to play again, hopefully it's Sunday afterwards. So we'll see. Charles Mangus says 58-0 will last at least 100 years. Well, I don't know who did 57-0, but they probably said the same thing. I'm just saying. 58-0 is ridiculous. I mean, think about how almost impossible that is. If you know baseball, if you ever played baseball, if you've been a baseball fan or even a casual baseball fan, to go 58-0. I mean, think about the things that happen in a baseball game. A ball gets booted. People make fantastic play. I mean, just you're got a close game in the 8th inning, and I mean, even if you've only had, let's say, if you're 58-0, you kicked somebody's ass like 30 times. Okay, and you got 28 games that are at least within shouting distance. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's less than that. Even if it's 20 games when they're shouting distance. You know how hard it is to finish those 20 games off without finding a way to lose? It's nearly impossible. It's an incredible feat. We'll be talking about it more next week. Hopefully they'll finish it off, and we'll talk to Coach Neffendorf again next week. I know he'll come on the show. You can also follow it with The Advocate. The Advocate is now in Shreveport and Bossier City. You just do a search on Shreveport, Bossier City Advocate, and you can find that as well. A few more things real quick before we get back to Saints. How about the Nick Staving elimination with a romp of the Pacers on Thursday night? They go back to Indianapolis on Saturday. The Pacers are a 4-point favorite. If the Knicks win Game 6, look out. And I'm going to tell you, I can't wait for Gabe to shake his head when I say this. Bargain. Knicks. Plus 2,500 to win the title. No, they're 2,000 now. Plus 2,000. They were 2,500 before. There he is, shaking his head. Told you. He's got the 0.0. You know what? Just for that, I'm betting on it, baby. I should have bet on it before last night, and I forgot. I'll put $5 on it. I'll put $5 on watching roaches race down Canal Street. I don't care. Plus 20, plus 2,000. You can't touch the Thunder. That's why if you want to bet it, you can't touch the Thunder at minus 750. Just thumbs up. Get out of here. If you bet that, you should check yourself into the clinic. Call the number. If you're betting the Thunder at minus 750, call the number. You are ill. Pacers plus 700. Lastly, two things real quick. In the NHL, the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers, they will battle for the Stanley Cup second straight year. Florida is in the Stanley Cup Finals for the third straight year, going for their second straight title. Oilers and Panthers. It was fun. If you like hockey at all, last year was fun. Fun finals. Let's see if they can do it again. And then this is lastly before we get back to the Saints. Chris Sale became the fastest ever to 2,500 strikeouts. He did it in 2,026 innings, which was more than 80 innings faster than Randy Johnson. It kind of looks like Randy Johnson a little bit. Doesn't scare you like Randy Johnson, but he's still been pretty damn good when he's been healthy. He's not going to go too much farther, though. He is 36 years old. And again, with his injury, besides the fact that he's on my fantasy team, so you know he's going to get hurt anytime now. I just jinxed it. He's definitely going to get hurt now. Sale also the 40th pitcher in baseball history to strike out 2,500. There are only 3 other active pitchers that have done it, and they're all old as dirt. Well, of course they are. 2 of them are older than 40. Clayton Kershaw, I think, is like 37, 38. And he's been hurt. He just came back. Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer are the only other pitchers to do it. So there you go. And is he going to get to 3,000? I think that's probably his ceiling. Chris Sale's probably not too much long. As great as he's been the last 2 years for the Braves, this year and last year, I can't think he's got a whole lot of time left. Maybe another year or two, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Gabe Henderson says his high school team was 38-3, one away from the state title. He thinks that's absurd. Never mind 58-0. Absolutely. And he says, thumbs up. Oh, he's agreeing that you can't bet the Thunder. Okay. I'll say. All right. All right. It's time to get back to Saints. We're going to we're going to be moving on, baby. Moving on. There we go. It's a live show, Jim Derry. Before we get to the rest of this live show, let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. They don't need to be reminded anything's live. They're always here. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, they can help you figure out, they're not help you. They will tell you. Don't go through going to go through a process. Tell you what that business is worth. That's someone you know, or if it's you, it's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding and managing partners, Nick Braden and Ron Hemel. They will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices, either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. From there, you will be well informed to begin to make the decision of your life on if you want to proceed. What happens after that? Well, you'll have to wait a little bit. You can wait. Before we get to Gabe, we'll tell you more about it. In the meantime, we'll check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Yeah, it's a mono-y Friday. It's kind of a mono-y Friday. It's Maui Friday. Reginald Porter says, Jim Mora, a real legend in Saints history. Playoffs. You know what's weird is he said the playoffs thing with the Colts. Then of course that's going to be in the montage, but I had to put it in there. Chad Gage says Rat would be a Hall of Famer in 7-on-7. Why y'all hating on the Rat? I don't know. Rocky says he saw where CBS predicts Cousins cut post June 1 and signs with the Saints. Nah. The Saints aren't. I'm not saying. I think it's more likely than not. We're to the point now where the Saints are not going to sign another quarterback, even a veteran quarterback. We've been talking about whether they should or shouldn't, and I definitely think they should. However, I just think they're not going to. I think if they were going to do it, they would have done it already. If they don't do it by the start of minicamp, I think that's just to like 80, 90% they're not gonna. And they're not definitely. I can't say definitely. I had to eat a crow po' boy a couple weeks ago. I don't want to say definitely anymore. I'm saving my 0.0s for special occasions now. But Kirk Cousins doesn't fit in the plans. They're not going to sign someone, a quarterback anyway, who's going to come in. They're not going to sign someone who is going to be a starter. Okay. Kirk Cousins, if he goes somewhere, he's most likely going to be a starter. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to want to come here anyway. Christian says the Saints go marching into 1-16, get the first pick in 26. Does Manning stay or go to New Orleans? I mean, don't think that won't factor into his decision, by the way. I've already said, and I think Gabe says the same thing. We've talked about how I don't think either one of us think Arch is coming out. I don't think he's coming out regardless. That being said, if he's thinking about coming out, and the Saints do have the number one pick, which I don't think is going to happen. I don't think the Saints are going to be the worst team in the NFL. I don't think they're going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be the worst team in the NFL. I don't know who's going to be the worst team in the NFL. Might be the Giants. Might be the Browns. I don't know who it's going to be. Could be the Titans again. I don't know. It could be the Saints, but I don't think so. Regardless, if the Saints had the number one pick, don't you think that Arch Manning is going to say, yeah, I think I'll go back to school? Because I think that's what would happen. I don't think he wants to come here. I don't think his family wants him to come here. Maybe. I don't know. Nola talking about Penning, and as that's a good transition. He's one of the biggest Penning fans. There's a Penning fan? Nola, are you Trevor Penning's mama? I didn't know there was a Trevor Penning fan. Okay. Nola says when he was drafted, he was interviewed and asked what his favorite thing about playing O-line was. He says he can physically assault people without being arrested. That's why you're a Trevor Penning fan? He also says he thinks Penning wants to prove. Well, why wouldn't he want to prove? He should have wanted to prove for the last 3 years. Wants to prove he's worth a new contract and believe he will surprise people this season. He is filthy nasty and he loves them for it. He has to progress with a new scheme and staff. Here's the thing about Trevor Penning. And I have been more positive on Trevor Penning as of late. I think guard fit suits him. Okay. So our topic of the day, and we're finally getting to it nearly half an hour in the show, but the offensive line could suddenly be a strength. Why? Because I love this alignment. Okay. I love the alignment that Kellen Moore has gone to, at least early on. Luke Johnson says he thinks that this is where the Saints are going to go. He thinks that this offensive line that you're seeing now is going to be the one that lasts. We've seen Saints teams in the past when they're trying out offensive lines. Whatever you see early on is probably what you're going to see. They're not going to keep making all kinds of changes over and over again. So what we have now, in case you haven't noticed, rookie Kelvin Banks. I love tackles the play. It's what he's played. Okay. So if you don't play, let's just say that what people, the quote unquote experts were talking about, if you drafted Banks, was you would leave Fawaga at left tackle. You'd have Banks at left guard and you'd leave Penning at right tackle. Now, we've been saying for weeks and weeks that wouldn't make any sense at all. Why would you do that? You have 3 offensive linemen basically out of position, right? I mean, because Penning's really a left tackle. Fuaga is really a right tackle, and Banks is a left tackle. So you'd have 3 guys out of position. I mean, you could make an argument that although Ruiz has been playing right guard for a time, and that's where he plays now. I mean, he was a center. But talk about what this does. I mean, this is where their strengths are. And I'm going to tell you why Penning, I think, is better suited to be a guard anyway. We talked about this. You put Banks at his native left tackle. That's where he was an anchor at Texas for 42 games and a captain. You move Fuaga back to right tackle, where he's probably more comfortable. That's where he played in college as well. And now Penning, what was he best at? What did he show last year that he could do? So to Nola's point, and I'm going to agree with him on this point, I think he could be, I think that he has a chance. I'm not saying he's gonna, but I think he has a chance to resurrect his career at left guard. Why? Because what he did best at right tackle, he didn't do anything right at left tackle. But what he did right at right tackle was he was pretty decent in run blocking. Still not a good pass blocker. When you're a left guard, you've got to be able to run block. You've got to be able to help open holes. And Penning with his physicality and guards becoming bigger and bigger. Remember, guards were they used to be a little smaller. Like the tackles were the big monsters, and the guards were a little bit smaller. Now the guards are as big as the tackles. Can he get the footwork right? I think he can. I'm actually, and look, if it doesn't work out, you could do one of 2 things. You could put Dylan Radins, who signed with the Titans, started games with the Titans. He's going to be the top backup, Dylan Radins. You could put him in and plug him in at left guard. You got Will Clapp back there who can be a backup guard. More likely is going to be a backup for Eric McCoy if he gets hurt. But Penning can also become a depth piece. If something happens to either Fuaga or Banks, you can shift things around and you have a that's something the Saints haven't had in years. Depth on the offensive line. It's not exciting. No. It's not exciting, but it's, I mean, for guys like me, it is, because I go into the trench. I love the trenches. I love this stuff. S. Callie, by the way, going back to Jim Mora, says Diddley Poo is the best. It's up there, man. When you're talking about just in general, Diddley Poo's up there. Apathy says if Bobby didn't choke when playoff time came, Mora would have won a Super Bowl. You know what? I don't know if they would have gone that far. And I don't want to be hating on Bobby too much, but you can't have 3 touchdowns and 7 interceptions in the playoffs. I don't disagree with you there. That Philly game is the one that hurts the most. Jim Mora was snake bit when it came to the playoffs. I don't know what happened there. Nola also says, you're not his kin. You do have his jersey custom made after the. Hey, I'm all for it, man. If he turns out to be good at left guard, really good, I could say on this show, you were the first person that I've ever heard of say that they were a Penning fan, and we will say it on this show. Absolutely, we will. Who Dat Daddy says he thinks this team's going to surprise people. You're thinking 11 wins. Who Dat Daddy? I don't know what you did with your week off away from the show, but it must have been really fun. Reginald Porter says he thinks the Saints will be better than people think. He says 11-6 record. And Gabe says stay off drugs. Man, what are y'all doing? It ain't happening, man. Come on. I'm not trying to burst your bubble. And I had my short yesterday was a clip from basically saying without hope, life is meaningless. I'm all for hope, but man, 11 wins. Let's not hurt ourselves. Reginald Porter says, remember Sean Payton took the Saints to the AFC Championship game his first year. There's a little difference. He had Drew Brees. Okay? He had Drew Brees. And he had some really good wide receivers. Gabe says if the Saints win 11 games this year, he will shave his head. Well, I will say this. The last time anyone here, it wasn't this show per se, but it was a show on NOLA.com way back in the day, Black and Gold Today, Duncan Holder, when Larry Holder said he would shave his head if the Saints won 10 games, and I think they won 12 that year. I think they won 12. Cecil Evans says Jim Dabrowski became an elite player after switching from tackle to guard. Jim Dabrowski was always a good player. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong because I don't remember him switching to guard. Cecil, again, you're probably right. I just don't remember that. I don't know why I don't remember that. Nola says he played O-line in high school, believes the O-line is the heartbeat of the team. I absolutely believe O-line is the heartbeat of the team. Derek Branch, now here's a realistic expert. 7-10. I think that's kind of high. As of right now, I may change my mind when we get to August. I don't have my official prediction yet. 7-10. I mean, it's a little high, but I think it's more realistic. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. Earl's pick says more like 8 wins. Okay. It's a little. Sean says Jim Mora was too loyal to Carl Smith. Yeah. I remember the Carl Smith days. Apathy says if the Saints win 7 to 8 games, they're ahead of schedule. Absolutely. UBN's just being mean. He thinks the Saints will be better than people think. He'll say 4-13. You're just being a dick. That's all that is. Gypsy Quill. It absolutely needs to be. The O-line is the most pressing issue for the losses that we had in previous years, and to some extent, really for the last few years. Agree wholeheartedly. You're not going to like me when I say this, though. The difference is the Saints had a quarterback the last few years, and now they really don't. What are you talking about, Terry? You know what I'm talking about. I'm not bringing up his name today. But they had a quarterback before. I would have really liked to see that particular quarterback without mentioning his name with this coming offensive line. I'm just saying, but we won't say it. Charles says 6 to 7 wins. I think that's being positive. You know what? Let's do this. There's the schedule. If you're watching live, if you're not watching, you know what the schedule is, or you can look it up. If you're listening to the show after the fact. Here's my problem, and I'm going to say this again. I know I'm kind of repeating what I said last week. My problem with if this schedule was a little bit different and mixed up a little bit differently, I might feel like 6 to 7 wins would be more of a possibility. But I think that if this team starts 0-4, again, a distinct possibility. I mean, let's be realistic. I know we're going to win. They're going to beat Arizona. They're going to beat the 49ers, blah, blah, blah. They are currently 3.5-point underdogs to Arizona. That's their best chance to win any of these 3 games, in my opinion. They're going to be a touchdown dog at home to San Francisco. They're going to be a touchdown dog at Seattle. They're going to be a 2-touchdown dog at Buffalo. They're not beating Buffalo. That one you can scratch off the list. So here's the thing. If you find a way to win one of these 3, great. Okay, 1-3. I don't think your feelings are all that hurt. But if this team starts 0-4, okay, and I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's 50-50 they're going to start 0-4, but I think it's 30% chance they start 0-4. I mean, there's a very realistic chance they start 0-4, okay? Think about that for a minute. And Gabe, you're saying hi. Gabe, do me a favor. If you can go click on money line and bet on all 4, like see what the odds are, the money line is for a 4-team parlay, Cardinals, Niners, Seahawks, and Bills. And he's going to come back to me, and then we can figure out what the odds makers percentage of the Saints starting 0-4 is. And he's going to come back to me. Again, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm telling you realistically. And here, this is the problem. This is probably why I'm not going to say. My guess is, again, I'm not making my prediction right now. I'll make my official prediction in either late August or early September. But right now, I'm leaning towards 4 to 5 wins. And the reason why is this. Again, if they start 0-4, I'm not saying they are, but I think 1-3 is the ceiling. Okay. But let's just say if they start 0-4. I mean, you realize what that is the rest of the way to win 6 games? I mean, you win 6 games, that means you win 6-11. That means you got to go 6-7 the rest of the way. An 0-4 team going 6-7 with a rookie quarterback or a quarterback that went 0-6 and all, you know, okay, you don't want to call him or whatever you want to call him. One of those 2 guys. I mean, What are the odds they could go 6-7 after an 0-4 start? Even if you start 1-3, what are the odds you go 5-8 with this schedule? I mean, you'd have to beat the Giants and the Patriots, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think they have a good chance to win one of those games. Let's say they start 2-4. Okay, that's realistic. Start 2-4. You got to find 4 wins on this schedule the rest of the way. Okay, maybe you beat Carolina once. Maybe you beat the Jets. I mean, all these teams that y'all think that the Saints are going to beat, they'd have to win all of those games. So again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just telling you realistically. We said the other day, we're going to have fun with this season no matter what. It's not going to be a negative Nelly show all year. Even we know what we have. We know what we're going into. We know this is a rebuilding year. But that's one, I guess what I'm saying here, when we talk about the offensive line, that's one of the things that's actually exciting about this team. It's exciting that they're going in with depth at offensive line because that's where you build a football team. You build a football team on the offensive line. Christian says, if I'll call it up, this season will be the worst NFL passing in the past 10 years. No good quarterbacks, all young and drafted in the past 2 years. I mean, we've said this before. Again, not being negative, just telling you the way that it is. There's no question the Saints go into this season. You can cut it up, dice it up, slice it up any way you want, but they go into this season with the 32nd ranked quarterback room. No question. And 31 ain't close, okay? So you tell me, have you ever seen a team with a 32nd ranked quarterback room going into a season? When's the last time you saw a team had an awful quarterback room going into the season? End up winning 10 or 11 games. I mean, I guess you could make an argument that Minnesota kind of did last year, but even Sam Darnold, he had 6 years under his belt. He's a former first-round pick. Gabe says he's going to talk about when he comes on about what the odds are. A few more comments, and we are going to get to Gabe. Yola says this 2005 Saints were way worse condition. No way. No way. No way they were way worse condition than this team. No. And the offensive line was, even with this offensive line, you're wrong. The only thing that was, what was terrible about that team? Katrina. Brees started very slow because of his shoulder. No, he didn't. What are you talking about? They went 3-0. 9 wins with it. Stop hurting yourself. I'm okay with hope. Hope is great. You hope they win 9 games, great. But don't tell yourself things that aren't true. That 2005 team went 3-13, not because they were in horrible shape, but because they had to play 16 games away from home. And they were also on a coach who was on his last leg, kind of like going in. Could you imagine going into a season with Dennis Allen and having to play 16 games on the road? That's what that team did. It was basically the same thing. Not even close. Jaden Daniels went to the NFC Championship game in his rookie season. Anything is possible. Comparing Jaden Daniels to Tyler Shuck is like comparing apples to elephant nuts. Okay? They're not even in the same ballpark. Earl's picks say they have to be better than last year. No, they don't. They don't. And first of all, even if they are better, like as far as just, I mean, think about where their wins came from last year. They won all 5 of their games with Derek Carr as quarterback. Oh, I said I wasn't going to say his name. I said it. They won all 5 of their games with Derek Carr as quarterback this year. You can hate me for saying this. I'll lose the viewer numbers. Gabe, get ready. Watch the viewer number. It's about to do this. There's no quarterback on this team that's even close to Derek Carr right now. They won 5 games, all 5 with Derek Carr. I don't give a rat's ass who Spencer Rattler had to play with. Let's be realistic. Earl says 0-4, no way. 0-4, yes way. 3.5-point underdog to Arizona. Touchdown underdog to San Francisco. Touchdown underdog to Seattle. 2 touchdown underdog to Buffalo. Yes way. Yes way. Am I predicting it? I'm not predicting anything right now. I'll predict that 1-3 is the absolute ceiling of that first 4 games. Rocky says, there he goes. Now I feel better. All is right with the world. Rocky Oob is typing in caps. Besides injuries, did the presence of DA contribute to the fall off the past couple of years as far as losing the locker room? Yeah, sure it did. What does that have to do with this year's record? Yeah, absolutely. No question. No question. Again, Nola's going to compare 2020 years ago offensive line to today's offensive line. Cole Nix was 6'5", 345. Jari Evans was 6'4", 330. Both guards helped lead the best years for this team ever. Pro Bowlers every year. Penning is more athletic. You still on Penning? Okay. Penning is, it doesn't matter if he's more athletic. Okay. What I have a problem with, those two guys were just sound, technically sound. Penning is not. You can be the most athletic person in the world. If you're not sound, technically sound doesn't make a difference. I'm not saying you could. I think you could be right. I am optimistic about Penning. I really am. I'm optimistic about Penning. I really am. Adam Varner says he thinks the Saints will beat Arizona. They're terrible. They're not terrible. They're an average team with, actually, their defense is okay. And Kyler Murray, the Saints haven't stopped a running quarterback since like 1982. I mean, of course I exaggerate. When's the last time the Saints beat a quarterback that was mobile? I don't remember. Gabe Henderson says, and he's going to come on in a minute so he can say it for himself, but Chuck went 8-4 in a crappy ACC. What makes people think he can win 9-11 games in the NFL? I mean, let's be realistic. Gypsy. Again, I'm all about hope. I'm trying to get y'all to be realistic. Let's tone it down. I mean, if you say they're going to win 9-11 games, it's a pipe dream, man. Gypsy says the win-loss ratio will highly depend on the performance of the O-line. So he agrees with me. Less significant progress is made offseason. Look, what do we want to, this season is about, and I hate to say this because y'all know how I am. I don't want to give up any wins. I hope y'all are right. And I hope that I'm sitting here at the end of December. Y'all are right. But this season is about improving from week 1 to week 18. You want to see improvement on this team from week 1 to week 18. If they do that and the O-line looks pretty good and the quarterback looks like, hey, maybe he can play, whether it's Chuck or Rattler, whoever it is. If he looks like he can play and he shows potential, because what I saw from Rattler in 6 games, I don't think he can play. Never saw Chuck play in the NFL, so I've seen other quarterbacks that go into a season. I'm like, who's this dude? I mean, just think of a few years ago. I mean, again, completely different situation. He's a unicorn. But by the end of the season, Brock Purdy would be the starting quarterback. Oh, lead your team to the NFC Championship game. Whatever, crack pipe smoker. It happened. David Nola, 985, says the Saints aren't winning more than 4 games. Let's get based in reality. Rocky says, say if they start 500. They're not starting 500. I'm not going to say 0.0, but it's pretty close. That's as close to not happening. I won't say 0.0, but it's as close to 0.0 without saying it. You're just asking the question. You really don't know what to expect. You'd have to find me 2 wins in there. Who are they going to beat? I mean, Arizona and then Seattle on the road? I mean, anything's possible. Don't count on it. Not happening. Reginald says, I give the Saints no chance of winning games. Better team, better coach. They're not a better team. It is a better coach, but we don't know anybody would be a better coach. Definitely a better coach. Why not us in the playoffs? Playoffs. Yeah. Apathy. Don't worry. We'll be trying to run Brandon Staley out of town by week 6. I have hopes for Brandon Staley as a defensive. If y'all have listened to me for a long, I haven't had to talk about him for a while. Y'all know what I think about Brandon Staley. Remember the old Bayou Bets? I am not a Brandon Staley guy. However, as a DC, I'm going to give him a chance. Daryl Romero thinks they'll win 6 games. We'll play hard in every game. And hey, Daryl, if they do that, that would be that'd be a huge plus. I would give him the thumbs up of thumbs ups. He thinks they'll win 6 games and play hard in every game and start the rebuild. That would be fantastic. If they did win 6 games, I don't care what order they win them in. As long as they get better from week 1 to week 18, if they can win 6 games and get better from week 1 to week 18? Man, that's a hell of a foundation right there. And do it with a seriously improved O-line. Adam Varner says, don't compare Bo Nix to Tyler Shuck. I'm not a Bo Nix fan at all, but I'm going to say this again. And I've going back to reality. Okay. Again, I hope I'm wrong about Tyler Shuck. I'm telling you what I see. There is no quarterback that was picked in this draft, including the number 1 pick of this draft, Cam Ward, who would have been ranked in the top 6 last year, including Bo Nix. Bo Nix was picked in the first round. Bo Nix would have been the number 1 pick of this draft had he come out this year. He's better than Cam Ward. Well, let's get real. Montreal. We beat the Dirty Birds. I'm good. I hear you, man. That's also, if you can win, how about if you win 6 games, you improve from week 1 to week 18, and one of those wins is against Atlanta. How about this? Even better. How about this? Montreal. You win 6 games, you get better from week 1 to week 18, and you win in week 18 on the road at Atlanta and knock them out of the playoffs. Now that would be fun. Who that daddy? He's just laughing. Sean, with my low expectations, what would be considered a successful season? I could tell you. I told you. Get better from week 1 to week 18. That's all I need. And win at least, you got to win at least 4. If you win fewer than 4, you're setting up. I said this on Eric's show, and I think I've said it on the show. You're setting a really bad foundation. You got to win at least at bare minimum 4. I don't want this team to be the first pick of the draft. I really don't. What else we got here? It's all love, baby. Yeah. All right, we're gonna get to Larry Gibson. Haven't heard from you today. Saints struggled with mobile quarterbacks. We do. Mally says he's got high hopes for Penning too. Hey, you should. He took the step towards rejuvenating his career. Not quite the step he needed to take to get that extra contract. But hey, Lewis Handel says he believes I'm underestimating Kellen Moore. He's better than I give him credit for. He's 37 years old, 36 years old. Not underestimate him. He could be. You could bring Vince Lombardi back from the dead. You can't win with a quarterback. You have a rookie quarterback and another one that went 0-6. You have by far, I'm not underestimating this, by far the worst quarterback room in the league. It's not close. You can pump yourself up and try to make yourself believe that it's not. Do whatever you want, whatever makes you feel good, whatever makes you wake up in the morning and smile about the future of this team. But they had the 32nd ranked quarterback room by pretty much every single measure. Anyone that would rank a quarterback room right now, if anyone did not rank this team the 32nd best quarterback room, which means the worst, I'd have no respect for them. None. They're not an expert. They shouldn't be doing this. They shouldn't be doing this. KC Paul, who I think is going to win the quarterback battle. If it's close, Moore goes with Shuck, but I hear Rattler is impressing him more. It's May. I don't know what you. I think it's a 90% chance that Tyler Shuck is the quarterback on September the 7th, barring injury. I don't even think it has to be close. I think that Rattler has to be super fantastic and Shuck has to be bad. Otherwise, Shuck's going to win the job. Look, I can't believe there are actually still Rattler lovers out there. You don't have to be a Rattler hater. But I can't believe there are still Rattler lovers out there. They both, Shuck might actually have a better arm than Rattler. He's pretty close to just as mobile. His accuracy is about the same, maybe a little better. And Shuck is the guy Kellen Moore drafted in the second round of the draft with the 40th pick of the draft. And Rattler was drafted in the 5th round, went 0-6, and was drafted by the former coach. What else do you need to know? It doesn't, I'm telling you, it doesn't even need to be close. As long as it's not a giant wide margin or Tyler Shuck's injured, it's going to be Tyler Shuck. It's simple as that. Gerard says he's right. Just stay healthy and improve every week. Make him happy. Chad Gage wants to see fire from this team. Look like emotionless. 100%. Absolutely. Corey Atkins, the Saints start bad. Were the odds Alvin Kamara be traded at the deadline? Decent. Actually, Kamara is one of your few trading pieces because the other guys cost too much. So Kamara's that's a real possibility. David Noah says beating the Falcons in Week 18 to keep them out is a dream season. Sean says I'm going to be eating another Crow Po' Boy from I've only eaten one in 4 years. I've eaten one Crow Po' Boy. Sean also says, do I think this team is worse than last season's team? Do I think they're worse? Talent-wise, yes. So you don't think run game can mask the youthful quarterback room? Run game? Absolutely not. They have probably the 20-something ranked running back room. You got a 30-year-old running back and nobody. Oh, but they got Kendra Miller. They got nobody. Oh, but they picked Devin Neal in the 6th round. They got nobody. Oh, wait, they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got nobody. Sorry, being realistic. All right, last thing here before we bring on Gabe is we told you earlier we would let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help figure out what your family-run or privately held business might be worth and whether it's time to sell. How do they do it? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking. Got to ask. It's Friday. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanians Nick Braden, Ron Hemelt, and the folks at Evangeline will begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the world. And they'll maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area, and none with their dedication and success. They are fully licensed. They're ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ron about what's really important. And it ain't any of this crap. It ain't the schedule. It ain't the, can they start 4-0? Can they start 0-4? Can they go sit? None of that. What's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. All right. Oh, sorry, Gabe. I didn't see your note there.
That's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I said we're going to be positive show. I think we have been positive. Look, this team, I think, even if they have a worse record and the team isn't as good, okay? So I'm saying they're worse. Yeah, I'm saying talent-wise they're worse.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you can't start to go in the ascending direction, even though you're worse.
So here's the thing. Here's where I'm at with that. This offseason, the Saints took 1 step forward and 2 steps back, and that's not their fault. I think overall, if you talk about every position other than quarterback, and hell, you can even throw in the coaching room. If you talk about all of those spots, I think they got better at most of them. I really think they do.
Okay.
But the regression at the quarterback position is more important than anything else.
Agree 100%.
And that is why I both agree that the Saints are not in a better place this year than they were last year.
Oh, my goodness. Hold on a minute. We got some breaking news being reported by Fox 8. I want to look at this real quick. I know it's live TV. I'm going to read this straight from Fox 8, our friends at Fox 8. A woman who says she was in a long-term relationship with Zion Williamson has reportedly filed a civil lawsuit in California accusing the NBA star of rape, assault, and kidnapping during the course of their time together. She alleges that it happened on September the 23rd, 2020. How old was he then? I mean, that matters. I mean, you still can't do that. And claims that he raped and choked her while appearing intoxicated. This is all alleged, but it's being reported on Fox 8. The lawsuit was apparently originally reported by TMZ Sports. if this ends up being true, obviously.
This ends up being true, the NBA will crown him for life. The amount of women beaters that are still in the NBA is crazy. I'll say that. That's all.
I'm glad that could be a real problem for a lot of people, and let's just hope that none of that's true. I mean,
and Mally Mal saying Zion might be done. That's I
don't know. I'm with
much anyway.
I'm with Mally Mal. I actually think we'll save the Pelicans for later. I mean, I don't want to get into that today, but I did want to. I did want to read that breaking news story here on.
I don't think
show.
We're in a position to speak on that at all.
Not at all.
Right.
But I wanted to. That is a breaking news report from WVUE.
Probably it's a civil case. You can file it at any time.
All right, let's get back to the Saints. And look, everything you said, and for those who have just been in and out or whatever, I think one thing that you said that I absolutely agree with is, although they may have obviously, I think the offensive line is clearly better. The wide receiver room is stagnant. I don't think they're better or worse. I mean, of course, they're better than they were at the end of the year because they get Olave back and they get Rashid Shaheed back. The running back room is stagnant. I mean, Devin Neal, what does he add? We'll see. The defense, you go to the defense, are they better? I don't think they're better, actually. We'll see what Brandon Staley can do with them. But the point of all that is all those positions could be better, but if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have anything. And so, again, let's be high on Tyler Shuck. Great. But you have to be realistic. Even if Tyler Shuck exceeds expectations, you have to be realistic about what he could possibly be. Again, even if he exceeds expectations.
Let's be realistic about his expectations as well. This isn't a guy that's going to go out there and be a Pro Bowler. He's a second-round pick in the worst quarterback draft class that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, again, we go back to like Brock Purdy was a 7th-round pick, and he was from Iowa State. So unicorn. So yeah, I don't want to say
Brock Purdy had all pros littered around him.
Miracles, yeah, right. So miracles,
and earlier, happen. Someone said, I don't remember who it was earlier. Someone said, "Oh yeah," Sean said, "Other than McCaffrey, what threat does other than McCaffrey? You mean the best running back in the NFL? Other than the obvious, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play?
George Kittle.
Yeah, they've got George Kittle.
Debo.
No, not Debo.
I mean, they had him.
They had him. They don't anymore.
But I'm saying, with the things that they did, I don't know.
Hold on. I want to comment on this because I've got a funny. So Adam says our defense couldn't stop a running toddler last season. Well, they better learn how to stop a running toddler this season because they've got one in the first game of the season.
A running toddler? Kyler Murray?
Yeah, it was a Kyler Murray short joke.
Okay.
Jim, there are very few people on this earth that I am taller than.
We already said the tallest wide receiver in the Saints room is the same height as me. Well,
who's the shortest receiver in the Saints?
It's got to be Brandon Cooks, right?
How tall is Brandon Cooks?
I think he's 5'9" or 5'10".
I'm the same height as Brandon Cooks if he's 5'9".
It doesn't say. And by the way, let me shout out to Matthew Paris, who's got a story about the wide receivers. I haven't got to it yet. I will get to it before we go. Some of the quotes that in this story, and we're talking about the receivers, and I never really got to it, but I meant to. The 6'2" receivers, by the way, are Bub Means, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Cedric Wilson. They're all 6'2".
Do we think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to make this roster?
Yes.
Really?
I think he's going to make this roster.
Okay. I remember being high on Donovan Peoples-Jones a few years ago, but he's done nothing since then.
I think that he doesn't make if they do bring in a veteran like a Keenan Allen or someone along of that ilk, if they do bring it, I think Donovan Peoples-Jones would probably be the first to go because you're not going to have two guys like that and Cedric Wilson, including him. Maybe one of those guys goes and doesn't. I don't know. We'll see how they fit.
I don't think either of those guys contribute much, if anything, this season.
Well, I got to be honest. I was high on Cedric Wilson last year, and he came in and did nothing.
I know you were.
I mean,
That
I
was
was
the
wrong.
easiest bet I've ever made.
Man, that was bad. That was really disappointing what he did. But Kellen Moore says, he says, where is it? Well, Cedric Wilson says, I don't think there's too many teams in the league that's got big dominant guys that they're just throwing fade balls to anymore. I don't think that's true, Cedric Wilson.
Well,
he said,
that's the only thing I'm better than Ash.
He said, quote, there are a lot of offensive gurus that are calling play calls, and you need guys out there that know what they're doing. Does Cedric Wilson mean that he knows what he's doing? Because he didn't know what he was doing last year.
I mean, in comparison to what? In comparison to you and I, he can definitely knows what he's doing at receiver then. But compared to other NFL receivers, Cedric Wilson is a nothing burger.
I mean, and then it's not in this story, but Kellen Moore was talking about, he did talk about Bub Means, and that was the first name he actually brought up. So maybe Bub Means can potentially be a possession type receiver or the big bodied guy at 6'2", I guess. I mean, again, that was the first name that he brought up. But then, you know, you hear Kellen Moore talking about things like this. I mean, this is kind of like, this doesn't make me feel good about. I think we've got some speed that we'll try to emphasize. I mean, is that the best quote you can get from Kellen Moore? Again, it's only May. What are you going to say? But I haven't seen anything or heard anything that's getting me fired up about this wide receiver room.
That's what Rashid Shaheed is. He's a speed merchant.
Yeah. Wow.
He gets in behind DBs and he does it extremely well. Charles says we need an all-pro receiver. Charles, unfortunately,
so does everyone
they
else.
do not grow on trees.
That's easier said than
they
done.
do grow up in Louisiana.
By the way, we couldn't show it because it wasn't the right format, but I want to give you your props. Anybody was here Wednesday, we're talking about Caleb Williams, and I said I challenged Gabe to find a video of Caleb Williams smiling for at least 5 seconds. He found one. It was a vertical video, so we couldn't show it because it would have looked weird. But it is out there. It does exist. So I got to give you your props. There is a video out there of Caleb Williams smiling. What the hell do I know? So.
Yeah, thank you. I did want to.
What's your thought of the day?
Talk about. So I wanted to answer your question from earlier here. So I felt better explaining it than I did typing it. So you cannot currently parlay money line odds for the first 4 weeks of the season.
You can't. Okay.
You can't do that. They won't let you. So if you take all the odds and throw them into a parlay odds calculator, you can still figure out those odds. If you want to bet Cardinals money line, 49ers money line, Seahawks money line, Bills money line in weeks 1 through 4. Jim, do you want to take a crack at what you think the odds on that parlay would be?
Okay, I'm going to guess that it is about plus 150.
You're very close. It's plus 203.
Okay, not too far.
And if you take plus 203 odds, that comes out to an implied probability 33%.
Well, there you go. So look, I've been a sports betting writer for a reason. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, although I just did. I would say that's a fairly accurate. I think 30% is about right. They start 0-4, which means I think to start 1-4, you got to say that the odds. I mean, 1-3. So 1-3 or worse, you got to say it's about 70%, right?
Probably.
Maybe a little higher than stuff. I wouldn't give it better than. I wouldn't give them a 30% chance to win 2 of their first 4. I think that's high.
No, so I don't think there's a. They're not going to win 2 of their first 4. And I didn't get to mention this the other day. I talked about it, but I really believe. I mentioned it to you afterwards. A really underrated thing that we're talking about, or that's not being talked about at all, that I want to make light of. The 2 games that they're likeliest to win in their first 4, I think we're in agreement, are Arizona at home and Seattle on the road.
Yeah.
Right.
If
you look at those 2 teams.
So what's the parlay that you can parlay that? Parlay the Saints in that.
No.
So throw that in the parlay.
So I was going to say, if you look at those teams, both of them have defensive-minded head coaches, one of which who has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think especially Seattle away as one of the toughest road environments, you're then taking a rookie, presumably, if we're saying that that Shuck is going to start. Right. You're taking a rookie and pinning him against a Super Bowl winning DC as a head coach in the first season or in the first game. And then 2 games later, cross-country flight against a great defensive mind in one of the toughest environments in football, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I think they start 0-4. I really do.
I think if I had to pick a record that they're going to start after the first 4 games, if you're like going to put me on a spot, I think it's about, like I said, 30% chance they start 0-4. I'd say it's 40. Let's say 50. I'm going to say 50% chance they start 1-3. And I think it's a 20% chance they're anything better than 1-3. So I think there's a better chance they're 0-4 than better than 1-3. So I would say 1-3 because I think they'll find a way to win. I don't know how. I think they'll just maybe it's just the positive part that's in the back of my brain. I'm going to say they're going to find a way. I don't know against who. I hope actually if they win 1-3, I would love it to be the game on the road at Seattle. But
I don't think they'll win that game. I think the only game they have a puncher's chance in would be the game against Arizona at home.
Earl's picks. I don't bet money on the show with people I don't know personally, so don't take this the wrong way. But I will tell you this, Earl. He's saying he's got $25 the Saints don't go 0-4. Take that $25. Take the $25, and when you can, it's not available yet, but it will be available at some point. Take the $25 and do a parlay. Find a way to do. I don't know. I mean,
I wouldn't parlay that because there's no way to reliably. But you would have to predict the win.
That's true. You would have to predict the win.
Yeah,
there's got to be. We're going to figure out a way for you to.
I also, for what it's worth, even though I do believe they'll start 0-4, I wouldn't bet on it because for plus 203 odds, you would only get about $50 back in profit on a $25.
Yeah. I'm not advocating it. And I said it's a 30% chance
for me.
30% chance it's going to happen. So that doesn't advocate. You're not getting the right price there. I wouldn't advocate to go bet that. And I just told you, I think they're going to find a way to win one of them. However, if somebody came here and if the football gods came down and said, I'm going to guarantee you one of 2 things is going to happen. They're either going to start 0-4 or they're going to be better than 1-3. I'm taking 0-4 every day in Christmas. There's no way I'm taking more than 1 win. So anyway, what else you got for me on this Friday?
Because
I'm kind of something. But before you say anything, people will stick around and didn't hear me say this earlier. We're about to have. I'm telling you, you're going to want to see the last word today. Our 2-minute and 18-second tribute to Jim Mora for his 90th birthday. I'm telling you, you're going to want to see it. Don't go anywhere.
As someone who's seen a portion of it when we were testing it out. Pre-production, I agree. You do want to stick around for it. Kind of want to answer Adam's question. Kind of want to speak to a lot of the comments on the show today. Adam says, "Sorry, I've been unavailable to view regularly." And he asked me what I think the record will be. I think they'll win 4 or 5 games. I don't think they break. I do not think there is even the slightest chance they make the playoffs. I think that is just some people being way too optimistic. Being homers, and there's nothing wrong with being a homer and having hope.
Oh, of course.
But you're setting, as Jim said earlier, you're setting yourself up to be disappointed.
But you know what? I will say this:
not going to win 9 games.
Yeah, you know what's better about now than this time last year? The mood, and then look, and I know that the Derek Carr haters are just so glad that he's gone that they're willing to, that in their mind, maybe they can win 9 or 10 games going, is because Derek Carr's going. First of all, if you think this team is better from a player stand, they might be better because he's gone and that distraction's gone. But as far as player-wise, if you think they're better, then you're crazy. Okay? So if you think they're going to win more games because he's gone, you're crazy. Okay, that's a silly reason to think they're going to win more games. However, I love that the mood is so different this year because there is hope for. I don't even think the hope, even though they're saying 9-10 wins this year, I think they're really thinking about a couple years from now, and the hope for the long-term future is definitely higher than it's been in a while. Okay, so that I am appreciative of that. I do like that. And there's no question that the long-term future of this team is definitely higher than it's been in maybe a few years.
100%, because you're now seeing what I have called many times a forced rebuild. The Saints are being forced to get better at other positions. Whether the quarterback position works
Correct.
out this season or not, I mean, if it's not, then you're going to have a high draft pick next year, and you're going to get another at your guy.
I just don't have to. I hope we don't have to do this whole quarter. That's the thing. If you want to ask me I think it was Sean who asked me, what is my expectation? One thing that I hope happens. Okay. I hope that Chuck proves me wrong, or even Rattler proves me wrong, and they don't have to go in and I hope if they have a high draft pick, they don't have to pick a quarterback.
Can I say this? If Chuck wins 4 games, we'll say 4 or 5 games, as Charles just said, they'll win 5 games. If they win 4 or 5 games, and let's say Arch doesn't come out, which neither of us think he will, let's just say the Saints don't love the quarterbacks next year, I would roll with Chuck for another year.
Oh, me too.
As miserable as it is,
probably
you have to wait on the guy. You can't do what the Jets have done continuously, what the Giants continue to do. And what that is they just taking quarterbacks. And it's very clear that they don't love them. I think you're stuck with Kellen Moore. I think he is here for the long term. I say stuck with, that sounds bad. Kellen Moore is here for the long term. You're not getting rid of him unless you go 0-17 and get blown out by 40 every game this season, which isn't going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I think Kellen Moore's here for the long term. He looks at next year's quarterback class, regardless of how this season goes, and says, I don't like any of these guys. I think you just have to stick it out another year and continue to build elsewhere.
I agree. All right. Last thing I got one last thing for you before we go. Because I want to end the show. 1:30 is our absolute max today, and we're 13 minutes away from that.
Yep.
Mark Gapsky says, do we like over 8.5 wins for LSU? I'll let you go first.
I'm very glad that we waited until I was done with this segment to answer it, because this wanted to be my parted thought. LSU over 8.5 wins was one of the first bets I placed this offseason when those win totals came out, along with Clemson over 9.5. I absolutely love LSU over 8.5.
I do too. Yeah. I think you're right.
I think it's juiced right now, but rightly so. There is a lot of value there. I think just because
they minus 140-ish,
like Clemson, something like that. I don't remember, but I think it's because I haven't looked at it in a while. That's why, because they play teams like Clemson, Alabama, and their schedule is significantly tougher this year. I think because of those reasons, you can't bump them up to over under 9.5.
It is exactly minus 140, and that was a complete guess.
Good call.
DraftKings. Yeah, I should have done this for a while.
To answer Lynn's question very quickly before you share your LSU thoughts,
what do we think
of the Steelers? The Steelers quarterback room is a mess. If they add Aaron Rodgers, they'll still be a mess, but it'll be a Band-Aid over a gunshot wound for the time being. I think they're still better than the Saints, regardless of if they sign Aaron Rodgers or not.
Saints win 7 games. We'll be upset. No one's going to be upset, David. I'm not going to be upset if they win 7 games. I'll be happy. That means that they've done better than either. I mean, Gabe doesn't care one way or the other. He's going to give his analysis, and I would be happy. I hope they win 7 games. I think that would be great. So nobody's going to be upset if they win 7 games.
I'd be happy that you guys are happy.
I'd be upset if the Saints somehow miraculously start 7-4, where people start dancing in the streets, and then they finish 7-10. That would make me upset, probably. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to be upset at all. So anyway,
Saints start 7-4, Jim.
It ain't. Come on, just being good. All right. Well, we'll see you on Monday, my friend. Have a good weekend. I think I'm seeing you Monday, right?
Do.
Are you here Monday?
Yeah, I'll be here Monday.
All right. See you Monday. Gabe Henderson, everybody. Again, he got it right. Caleb Williams. He found him smiling. He wasn't lying. All right, we got about 10 minutes left. Last chance to get in your Saints comments before the weekend. Lewis Handel says he likes this team. He expects. He doesn't predict. He expects this team wins 7 games. Okay. I mean, that's not out of. I don't think that's past the realm of reality. 7 wins is not past the realm of reality. I think. Oh, he said he was talking to Lewis. Then he doesn't see 7 games as a possibility. Okay, I'm not gonna be. Why would anyone be upset though? Mal, you're right. Sometimes you got to tear down the house to build it right. Look, tearing down hurts. Means you got to go through more. You got to go through. They tell you. You know, I don't know. The only analogy that comes in my head: if you got to cut off your foot I mean, if you cut off your foot, you're never going to be good again. But anyway, the only way you're going to live, cut off your foot. It is what it is. All right. Again, if you want it, I might sneak one or two more comments. Lynn Durham says Saints win 4 games. I might stick one or two comments in after the last word, but I want to get to the last word because y'all been the ones that are still here. You want to see this. I'm telling you, it's going to be worth the wait. So, in all the hubbub of a 3-day weekend and a Memorial Day and the Saints OTAs, by the way, Saints OTAs, let me see real quick. I forgot to give you that schedule. They're back at it again today. Saints OTAs again on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. And then minicamp is June 10th through the 12th, which is Tuesday through Thursday. By the way, Mrs. Derry, birthday happens to be June 12th. Lots of things happen on June 12th. I'll tell you about that later. So Tuesday through Thursday, 2 weeks from now is mandatory minicamp, and then they're done. They're done. They're on vacation until they come back from camp. So there you go. That's the OTA minicamp schedule. Anyway, of all the hubbub of all the things that have been going on, we somehow missed a momentous occasion that I'll tell you about. Yes, this past Saturday was a very important birthday for one of my top 5 Saints of all time. No, not Archie Manning. That was earlier this month. Not Drew Brees. His birthday is in January. Not Ricky Jackson or Morton Anderson or any other player. It was the 90th birthday of my favorite coach in Saints history. With no offense to Sean Payton, Jim Mora was the one who brought this franchise out of the abyss of football hell. For 20 years, the only thing Saints fans had to look forward to was the possibility of a 5 or 6 win season. Kind of like now. And if everything, and I mean everything went right back in those days, maybe, just maybe, the team could finish 500. Jim Mora turned the Saints from could've, would've, should'ves into a team we expected to go to the playoffs. The first time we ever expected the Saints to go to the playoffs. It is indeed a shame the team never won a playoff game until 4 years after his departure, but he set the tone with the formation of the Dome Patrol, a 9-game winning streak in 1987 when the franchise had never even previously won 9 games in a season, and to its first ever division title in the franchise's silver season of 1991. First time they ever won a division title. And when they were bad, Coach Mora let you know in no uncertain terms and let the guys wearing the uniforms know it was unacceptable. And every once in a while, for a pick-me-up, I'll play a clip or two from those days. We have fun with it. It's been a little while. So how can we not have a tribute to Jim Mora without some of his greatest hits? So here you go. It's 2 minutes and 18 seconds of sheer greatness.
Well, what happened was that second game, we got our ass kicked. Or the second half, we just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a first down. We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked. The second half, we sucked. We couldn't stop the run. Every time they got the ball, they went down and got points. We got our ass totally kicked in the second half. That's what it boiled down to. I don't know. All I know is we threw 4 interceptions and fumbled once. 1 interception they returned for a touchdown. 3 others were in our end of the field where they scored points. That's all I know. That's inexcusable. Inexcusable. Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
Obviously, you're not happy.
Oh, we got our ass kicked. We got our ass kicked. It was sickening. We have 18 plays on offense. First 18 plays, we turn the ball over, 1 for a touchdown. The other one's going to set up a touchdown.
You guys really don't know when it's good or bad when it comes right down to it.
Will you make a promise to us? Will you tell us when it's good?
And I'm promising you right now that you don't know when it's good or bad. You really don't know. Because you don't know what we're trying to do. You guys don't look at the films. You don't know what happened. You really don't know. You think you know, but you don't know. And you never will.
We're better than we are. We're not good enough. We shouldn't even be thinking about beating this 49ers. We shouldn't be talking about it because the Saints ain't good enough. And you guys shouldn't write about us being a playoff team and all that bull stuff. That's malarkey. We ain't good enough to beat those guys, and it was proven out there today. It's that simple. We're not good enough yet. We got a long way to go. We got a lot of work to do. We're close, and close don't mean, and you can put that on TV for me. Could have, would have, should have is the difference of what I'm talking about. The good teams don't come in and say could have. They get it done. All right? It's that simple. I'm tired of saying could have, should have, would have. That's why we ain't good enough yet. Because we're saying could have and they ain't.
How many times do we have to hear? You got our ass kicked. I mean, who says that anymore? Who tells you like it? Who tells you? We got our ass kicked. I'm going to show Sean Payton would come out, my favorite of all time. And then I'm going to go off on a tangent for a minute. My favorite of all time. Remember the old Black and Gold Today show for you diehards here on NOLA.com back in 2015 when I was hosting that show? First show ever hosted. My favorite, and you can still find that on YouTube somewhere. Just Google Black and Gold Today and Brandon Browner. When he was like, Brandon Browner was toast. He got his ass burned by the Carolina Panthers and was committing fouls all over the place. And maybe the best dime I ever wrote back in 2015. And Sean Payton comes, Brandon Browner was fine. Go write a blog about a cat. No, Jim Mora says we got our ass totally kicked. Yeah, apathy. Apathy asked, you ever seen the clip when he calls Buford Jordan's talk show and goes off? No, but on one of these clips, and I had to cut it off, but he was ripping Buford Jordan on one of these clips. Yeah, Lynn Durham, he was for real honest. David Nola, greatest truth-telling head coach ever. You think you know, greatest quote of all time. So if you're a member of the media, greatest quote of all time. You think you know, but you don't know, and you never will. I say that out to this day. I say that. And you never will. I say that all the time. You think you know, you never will. Lewis Jacobson said he's been a Saints fan since '67, still has his tickets. He's really going to enjoy the season. Never be as bad as these fans today. They just don't have a clue. That's why it's like, it's not the end of the world. They really do go 4-13 because they're going this way. I can tell you, I love Kellen Moore. They're going this way. So that's what I mean. It's not a negative. If I say they're not going to win 6 a.m., I'm not being negative. I'm telling you, I think in the future, and then maybe not even the super far future. And as we finish with Jim Mora today, have you seen him lately, by the way? Do yourself a favor. I said this in the beginning of part of the show. Go find Jim Mora from today. It's not hard. Go to Fletcher Mackel, and Fletcher Mackel, again, a semi-regular on this show. He's been on, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. By the way, Jim Mora, if you want to go back, he was audio only. We were not doing video yet. But Jim Mora was a guest on the Dattitude podcast. It was back when Sam Mills was getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think it was right after. I don't know if it was right after or right before. It was in August of whatever. What was that? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. It's like one of the episode 40 or 50 or somewhere around. It's not hard to find. Go to find Dattitude on SoundCloud, okay? Or even if you on Apple. If you do Apple Podcasts, you can go back and find it there. It's worth listening to. It's like, I thought he was going to give me like 15, 20 minutes. We ended up talking for almost an hour. It was fantastic. He goes in depth about how he ended up here in New Orleans. Instead of, he had opportunities to go coach the Cardinals or go coach the Eagles or coach the New Orleans Saints. And you got to think about what that was like. I mean, choosing the Saints over anybody back then. A lot of it had to do with Jim Finks, the late, great Jim Finks. But it's worth going to find and listen to. I'm telling you right now. If you go back and listen to it over the weekend, let me know that you listened to it. Even drop me a note, either email me or come back on the show Monday or whatever, and let me know you listened to it. It's worth listening to. I'm not just saying that. I'm not just trying to sell the show. Again, it's before video. It's worth listening to it. I think it was 3 years ago because I think I remember saying he was 87. But 90 years old, go find Fletcher Mackel's Facebook page. And he's going through, and it was like an hour and 16 minutes into his workout, doing things that I can't do, most of y'all can't do at age 90. I'm telling you, he's got the legs of like a 40-something-year-old. It's incredible. So with all that, we say happy belated birthday to a legend, Coach Jim Mora. Just incredible. That is going to wrap it up for us on this Friday. I want to thank today's guest, Gabe Henderson, and you. You were our guest. You're always our guest. You're our family now. We hope you can join us next. Today was kind of a mono-y Friday. Well, we'll have mono-y Monday for real on Monday. We hope you can come back. A reminder, if you have not already done so, please subscribe to our Dattitude YouTube page. I mean, as my daughter would say, smash that subscribe button. Smash that like button. Click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. And you can also find a replay of the show, as always, on NOLA.com/sports. You can find me on bet.NOLA.com. I got to put this in the script. Gabe, I want you to text me. I'm going to put your site in the script because I always forget and I mean to put that in there. You can find our insiders on NOLA.com/sports/Saints. When I tell you, if you live in the New Orleans area, it is time to go out and have a fantastic, glorious weekend because from what I understand, it's supposed to be temps. It's, by the way, it's sportsbookreview.com for Gabe Henderson. Sportsbookreview.com. Check Gabe's work out there. Temps are supposed to be in the mid-80s with low humidity and cool nights. And when I say cool for end of May, beginning of June, it's supposed to be like low 60s with low humidity. Last chance for some nice weather. Charles Manga says, Finks was a great GM. Everybody, he says, great show. Gerard Simino, great show as always. Thank you all so much. Lewis Handel, great show. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being a part of this Mono-y Friday. Again, get outside. Enjoy it. We will see you on Monday. We love y'all. Take it easy, my friends.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.